This live stream brought to you by the Excelsior Citizen and these generous sponsors. The Simmons Sales Team, your hometown realtors. Our Excelsior Springs Hospital, where better care is right in your backyard.
Whether we're talking about our dedication to preventing and restoring power outages, our pursuit of safety, or providing the best member experience possible, we are relentless in serving our communities.
Since 1974, Chuck Anderson Ford has proudly served the community's automotive needs. From new and pre-owned vehicles to parts and service, they've been there in the past and they'll be there in the future. Visit Chuck Anderson Ford today. Find out how you can advertise with Excelsior Springs' #1 community resource. Visit ExcelsiorCitizen.com today.
I changed that. Calling the meeting of the City Council to order. Excuse me. And the opening will be David Bordeaux of Christian Lake Christian Center.
Right.
And we appreciate you coming, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
I've never been accused of being quiet, so I'm up here because no. Let's pray together. Lord, first of all, we just want to thank you for this new year. Lord, we ask that, Lord, as you have been in the past, Lord, we ask that you would be with us as a city. Lord, we ask that you would lead and guide us. Lord, I ask for every household that's represented here. Lord, I ask that you would bless them. God, speak to their hearts. God, let them know that you're near. Lord, encourage them. Lord, your word says that we're not to grow weary while doing good. Lord, I ask that you would encourage each person, Lord, that works in this city. God, help them to stay faithful to what they're supposed to do. But Lord, I ask that you would breathe your strength and your life and your wisdom into each one of them. Lord, we ask that you continue to bless this city. Lord, may your favor shine upon this city in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, roll call, please.
Councilman Rennie?
Yes.
Councilman McGovern?
Present.
Councilman Spear?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem St. John?
Yes?
Mayor Spawn?
At this time, we'll open the floor up to visitors. If I would like to say anything to the council. It's reserved, this time is reserved for public comment addressed to the City Council. Each speaker is limited to 5 minutes. Any agenda item which has a public hearing should be reserved until the public hearing is open, and comments on such item would be taken at that time. Is there anyone who'd like to say anything? Hearing no comments or seeing any movement, move on to the minutes of the regular City Council meeting of December 15th of 2025.
Move to approve the meeting minutes of December 15, 2025.
Second.
We have a motion second. Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Need a motion for consideration of the agenda?
Make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Councilman McGovern,
Yes.
Councilman Rennie,
Yes.
Councilman Spear,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem St. John.
Yes. Okay. Item number 1 on the agenda is consideration of amendment to schedule of fees regarding the fire training facility, ordinance number 26, TAC 01, TAC 01.
Good evening,
Thank you
Mayor,
for-
members of the council. The fire department is seeking authorization to establish training facility rates. Due to the interest of other neighboring departments in using our training facility, we propose the following rates of usage. I'll be glad to answer any questions if you have any on the rates. And I might add that these rates will probably change somewhere down the line once we get a good grasp on what repairs, replacement costs going to cost us, for sure.
Do you feel, at this point, you feel like you're in good shape?
I think we're in pretty good shape right now.
Okay. Okay, all right. Any questions or comments? Since this is an ordinance, we'll need a motion for taking to second reading.
I make a motion to take ordinance 26-01-01, consideration of amendment to schedule of fees regarding the fire training facility to second reading.
I'll second.
Do we need to read through the actual name of the ordinance or no?
Okay, that's what I've got showing. Hang on, let me.
I know some of them are rather lengthy.
Right. Okay, I've got an ordinance amending the schedule of fees regarding the fire training facility.
So that's the first reading, and then again, who made the motion for the second?
Gary made the second.
Okay, we have a motion second. Roll call, please.
Councilman Spear,
Yes.
Councilman McGovern,
Yes.
Councilman Rennie,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem St. John.
Yes. For second reading, this is consideration amendment for schedule of fees regarding the fire training facility, an ordinance amending the schedule of fees regarding fire training facility, ordinance number 26, TAC 01, TAC 01.
I move.
Oh, go ahead,
I move that
Gary.
we approve ordinance number 26-01-01, consideration of amendment to schedule of fees regarding the fire training facility.
Second.
Okay. We have a roll call, please.
Okay. Councilman Rennie,
Yes.
Councilman Spear,
Yes.
Councilman McGovern,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem St. John.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 2 before the council is ordinance 26, TAC 01, TAC 02, consideration of an agreement with the senior services for meals and a visit program.
Good evening, council. So this is the last step of our process to get the Meals and a Visit program running. Meals and a Visit program will start on the 12th with our first deliveries, but this agreement essentially finalizes that step with Clay County Senior Services to say, yes, we would love your assistance in funding this staff member for us, so that we can run this program. Any questions? Be happy to answer.
No questions, but I so appreciate all the work you, Jesse, and everyone that put into this. This is going to meet a tremendous need in our community. It's much
Jesse
appreciated.
Hall has definitely done a lot of work to get this running, and now Tammy Murphy is our staff member that's been hired to do this to take it the rest of the way.
Start getting meals delivered, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what's your time frame?
The first meals will be delivered January 12th.
Okay,
So
excellent. Okay, this is an ordinance, so it requires a second reading. So open to a motion for taking this ordinance to second reading.
Make a motion to take ordinance 26-01-02, consideration of agreement with Clay County Senior Services for meals and a visit program to second reading.
Second reading for ordinance 26, TAC 01, TAC 02. I need to take a vote, sorry.
I'll second that.
Need a second?
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Councilman Spear,
Yes.
Councilman Rennie,
Yes.
Councilman McGovern,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem St. John.
Yes. Second reading of ordinance 26, TAC 01, TAC 02, consideration of agreement with Clay County Senior Services for a meal and a visit program.
I move we approve ordinance number 26-01-02, consideration of agreement with Clay County Senior Services for meals and a visit program.
Second.
Motion is second. Roll call, please.
Councilman McGovern,
Yes.
Councilman Spear,
Yes.
Councilman Rennie,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem St. John.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next item 3 before the council is resolution 1630, consideration of environmental services task order for a water treatment plant's lime slaker replacement project.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem and members of the council. The following task order between the City of Excelsior Springs and Lamprey Nearson provides for engineering services for improvements in our water plant. These improvements will include a new lime slaker for replacement and redundancy, the rehab of the lime silo, and the removal of the old RDP lime silo and the bridge. Design services will include preparation of construction drawings and specifications, CACO, and the preparation and submittal of the permit application to Missouri Department of Natural Resources. According to Exhibit A, the task order number 2022-5-W1, the design and bid phase services will be a lump sum of $50,000. Construction administration will be $23,000, and the construction observation will be $12,000, for a total of $85,000 for the design and for this project. It is estimated the design phase will take about 5 months to complete, and the construction phase is estimated to take 365 days from the notice to proceed. An estimate is included with the total construction cost coming in at $556,124, of which $72,600 is the 15% contingency. Resolution is attached. I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
What is the funding source?
Water.
So we didn't include this in our, it was noted, but it wasn't included in the rates.
Right. We did
So I'm
not
just
include
curious
it in
what
the
our
rate.
source of funding is, or where we're going to go get this
So we're
money.
pending funding through,
There was reference to a grant,
We were going to
Yes.
apply
but
for
I
a grant.
haven't.
I want to say it's WRDA, is that the same one?
Yeah, that would be the. We were trying to get it through Army Corps of Engineers, but they didn't get it. They don't have it available
When
yet.
we last met with the Army Corps of Engineers, they suggested they had money available that we should apply for. And so we sought funding for the improvements we're doing at the water treatment plant. The roof, we had to go sooner just because of the condition. But the slaker is one of the things that's on the list of improvements we hope to accomplish. And I know that this is the design of it. They're very slow. So we had to move forward with the design, and we're just waiting for them to decide, is this a funding source or is it not? But it was a bad condition as well, and we just couldn't hold up. We've waited a couple of years as it is to replace it.
And it'll come out of water reserves if they don't have anything.
Yeah.
If nothing comes
So
through
we
with that.
chose to use reserves because it was possible this year. And we were certainly in hopes that during this year, we'll hear whether they're going to move forward with funding for this project. So it's been a very slow process.
Plus, the roof came in lower than what we had budgeted
That's
on
true,
that
too.
quite a bit.
Yeah,
If I remember, came in around 180. I don't have that in front of me, but
yeah.
and we had budgeted quite a bit, like in the threes for it, 335, I think, for the roof, and
So
it's
I
done.
think, I may not remember correctly, but I think the replacement comes next year, and this year is just the design.
This is just a design. It's for 5 months. We can always hold off if we
Yeah.
need to hold off. We can, But 5 months from now, we're going to be pushing towards the latter quarters of this year
Yeah.
on it. Plus, the next project is is a year project.
Yeah.
So even that could curtail into the following budget year.
Yeah, I think you mentioned it could follow
Right.
two different
Right.
fiscal
It'll
years.
split the
which
two
will
fiscal years.
Help from a budgetary perspective.
So it all won't hit 1 year.
So the funding for this is potentially coming from the reserves
Yes.
fund and not
The
from
water
the water
reserves.
rate itself.
Right, that's true.
Unless Army Corps of Engineers calls us and says we've got funds available, they're ready. So that's
Yeah.
kind of how it popped up when we did the sewer grant.
We're seeking in the $2 million range for the improvements of the treatment plant. And we're just kind of in a waiting, it's a strange process. Yeah, it's not necessarily an application as much as it is waiting.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, this is this is a resolution, so chair's open to a motion to approve.
I move we approve resolution number 1630, consideration of engineering services task order for water treatment plant's lime slaker replacement project.
Do we have a
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilman Rennie,
Yes.
Councilman McGovern,
Yes.
Councilman Spear,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem St. John.
Yes. Agenda item number 4. Resolution 1631, consideration consulting service agreement with Plan to Preserve LLC.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, members of the council. This resolution is to select Planning to Preserve LLC as the consultant for the Isley Neighborhood Historic Preservation Plan. Staff completed a qualifications-based procurement process, and Planning to Preserve was identified as the most qualified firm. The plan will support neighborhood preservation goals, guide reinvestment, and provide long-term framework for historic preservation in the Isley neighborhood. This goes right along with what Melinda presented earlier at 5:30. I think this is another one of those tools that we will use for that neighborhood in that area of our city. The total project cost is $42,558,000, with approximately $25,300 funded through the Federal Historic Preservation Fund through a grant. The remainder will be provided by a local match, both cash and in kind. Staff recommends approval of the resolution, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Questions? No questions?
No question.
Open to a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve resolution 1631, consideration of consulting services agreement with Planning to Preserve LLC.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Councilman McGovern,
Yes.
Councilman Rennie,
Yes.
Councilman Spear,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem St. John.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is a simple motion, item number 5, consideration of liquor license approval for new ownership of Y Liquor.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem and members of the council. The Y Liquor establishment located at 1742 West Jesse James was recently sold, and as required, the new owner has to obtain his own liquor license. His application has been reviewed and meets all the requirements. He also has obtained his state license, and so this just would be a simple motion. Be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
In your background check, everything was good?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Do we have a motion?
I move that we approve consideration of liquor license approval for new ownership of Y Liquor.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Councilman Rennie,
Yes.
Councilman McGovern,
Yes.
Councilman Spear,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem St. John.
Yes. Item number 6, for the council is resolution number 1632, consideration of upfitting purchase of a 2026 Ford Police Interceptor. Chief, it's you again.
Yes, sir. I have quite a few on your list here.
Yeah. You're going to be here for a while.
You want a chair?
I probably should stand. So we are requesting approval to purchase and install the upfitting equipment, the emergency lights, sirens, controllers, speakers, cage, etc. Everything that makes it a police car. From KCOM, the total upfitting cost for this vehicle, including installation and decommissioning some of the equipment from previous cars, is a total of $19,134.34. If approved, this purchase would be funded using monies from the Public Safety Sales Tax Fund. The PSST Oversight Committee has reviewed and approved this purchase as confirming that it aligns with established guidelines for usage of these funds.
What's the turnaround time now from KCOM? Is it a little bit quicker than it has been historically?
Yes, it's quicker. They've been able to retain staff, add some staff. From the time that we get our car to the time there's some variation, but just a couple of months now. We were waiting anywhere from 6 months to a year. So.
Oh, wow.
But I understand they give you back a work of art.
They do. They do an excellent job. There's a lot of detail that goes involved in that, all of the wiring and everything, and they're really, in our experience, second to none in the area. So.
It sounds expensive, but believe me, there's a tremendous amount of equipment that needs to be taken out of the old car and all that installed in the new car, and it's not easy installation. And to get one outfit to do it all is fantastic.
Yeah. And they're also able to, if we have issues with cameras, computers, or anything like that, they are licensed by Axon or our current one, which is Motorola, to do repairs.
So they're a one-stop shop,
They
virtually.
are.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah. Any additional questions, comments? Chair's open to a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve resolution 1632, consideration of upfitting purchase for 2026 Ford Police Interceptor.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Councilman Spear,
Yes.
Councilman Rennie,
Yes.
Councilman McGovern,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem St. John.
Yes. Item number 7 on the agenda is resolution number 1633, consideration of a new agreement for use of police shooting range with outside agencies.
Yes, sir. Pretty straightforward. It's an agreement between the city and outside agencies who wish to use our range for training and for qualifications. This sets some guidelines and the training fee. I'd be happy to answer any questions if anybody has any.
Any comments, questions?
Seems pretty straightforward.
The chair is open to a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve resolution 1633, consideration of new agreement for use of police shooting range with outside agencies.
Second.
Okay. Have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Councilman McGovern,
Yes.
Councilman Spear,
Yes.
Councilman Rennie,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem St. John.
Yes. Item number 8 is resolution number 1634, consideration of destruction of specified police records.
Yes, sir. The Police Department Records Unit is currently in the process of digitizing records with permanent retention and disposing of documents that have exceeded the required retention periods. Pursuant to city ordinance and state statute, police records that have met their established retention requirements may be lawfully destroyed. The department has identified a number of records that meet the criteria for destruction as outlined in the Missouri Municipal Records Manual. These records date from 1990 through 2017. In accordance with statutory requirements, the destruction of these records must be documented in the minutes of a city council meeting. Attached for review and in your packet is a resolution authorizing the destruction of the specified police records.
Who actually performs the destruction, the security, the documents and all? Do they show up on site? Or just
Well, Supervisor Creason will do it.
okay.
Yep.
You don't know if it's Iron Mountain or
So
Shredded?
you do it
or-
on site
I
with
don't.
staff?
I don't.
Okay.
Okay. Any additional questions, comments? Okay. Being a resolution, 1634, chair is open to a motion to approve.
I move we approve resolution number 1634, consideration of the destruction of specified police records.
Second.
Do we have a motion and a second? Roll call, please.
Councilman Rennie,
Yes.
Councilman Spear,
Yes.
Councilman McGovern,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem St. John.
Yes. Agenda item number 9, resolution 1635, consideration of purchase agreement with Exxon Enterprise for body-worn cameras and dash cameras.
Yes, sir. So the police department's in-car dash cameras are past the end of their useful life, and the repair replacement parts are no longer commercially available. We currently do not have body-worn cameras. We never have had them. The use of body-worn cameras, as you know, has rapidly increased since 2014. We are one of the few agencies that do not have this technology. Body-worn camera technology has a proven track record in helping to de-escalate situations and helping reduce litigation costs associated with that. These benefits also translate to improved evidence collection for investigations and prosecutions, potentially offsetting some of those initial costs through fewer internal reviews and lawsuits. The Excelsior Springs Police Department is seeking approval to enter into a 5-year service agreement with Axon Enterprise for 10 body-worn cameras and 8 in-car dash cameras. The total cost of the agreement is $134,321.60, paid in yearly installments. This proposed purchase, if approved, would be made utilizing monies from the public safety sales tax.
So it is an annual payment and not a one lump sum that's a 5-year contract?
That's correct. So the first year is $26,684.32.
Okay.
And then the succeeding years are $26,909.32. And that includes a refresh for the body-worn cameras at 2.5-year period, and then if we were to renew, it would be new dash cams at the 5-year period.
Okay. A couple of questions I've been asked on this
Sure.
is, do these cameras give you GPS locations?
I believe the body-worn cameras do. I don't know that for certain. They have a number of special features that if you pay more, then they can turn on these features. We were able to negotiate some, year-end, being able to get some additional features without increasing the cost. But I'm reasonably certain that GPS is in there, but I don't want to say yes for sure and be incorrect. So,
An additional question that's been asked is, how often is there a download from those cameras?
So the body-worn cameras, this is one of the features that we negotiated for. They do have a feature where either the officer, him or herself, can activate it, or a commander can activate it, where we have live viewing capabilities. So if we're in the office, we hear a call come out, we can activate it and we can actually watch it from a computer, the call in real time. Short of that, I don't know how frequently the body-worn cameras, if when they're near the station, it uploads similar to the dash cams. That's what I believe it is.
And because I know that was always the issue, is the cost of storage and how timely it is, which sound like we've got that covered then.
Yes.
And the storage is cloud-based.
It is cloud-based.
Okay.
Our current storage is on a server here at the station with Axon. Most most companies now only offer cloud service. They don't allow you to do the on-site.
Yeah, I'm not an IT specialist, but I assume that cloud-based, it's constantly just
I would think it'd be,
overriding whatever
yeah.
the most current is.
Right.
And the other added benefit of Axon is it's synced with our tasers. So when the taser's turned on, let's say the officer is out at Quick Trip and something happens right there and he has to draw his taser quickly, the body camera, the dash cam automatically turn on too. So
Okay. There's no manual requirement.
they don't have to. No,
Okay.
it syncs with the taser.
Evidently, this is more important than I realized when it shows up on the news on 8 o'clock in the morning. I thought, okay, evidently we're finally getting into the 21st century. So,
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Chief Dahl,
Yes, sir.
this is Gary Rennie. I'm very excited, and we are getting in the 21st century. And I believe we're going to see a lot of great results from these body-worn cameras. And I'm very pleased that we're getting them as well as updating our dash cameras.
Thank you, sir. I'm excited about the possibility too. They're a great, also just a great training tool to be able to go back and debrief and look to see what the officer did well and what could they do better next time. And having the capability of doing that. Obviously, dash cam, we do that pretty regularly, but dash cam doesn't capture everything. So.
Right.
yeah. Okay.
Very good.
Any additional questions or comments? Yep. Being a resolution 1635, chair is open to a motion to approve.
I move that we approve resolution number 1635, consideration of purchasing agreement with Axon Enterprise for body-worn cameras and dash cameras.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Councilman Spear,
Yes.
Councilman McGovern,
Yes.
Councilman Rennie,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem St. John.
Yes. Item number 10 on the agenda is ordinance number 26-01, Tag 03, consideration of adjusting the schedule of fees for animal control ordinance number 26-0103.
Yes, sir. So the schedule of fees for the Animal Control Center have been in effect since 2014 and are no longer adequate to cover the actual costs to the city. I recommend the fees be adjusted as indicated to reflect the current costs associated with the service provided. In conjunction with this change, also requesting that the council repeal section 210.170 requiring a city license for dogs, cats, and miniature pigs. In our opinion, the ordinance is outdated and difficult to enforce. Additionally, with the advancement in technology since 1987, when the ordinance was originally adopted, things like bite tags, GPS tags, etc., microchips, they're better able to track pets and reunite them with the owners than the pet owners, than the city tags ever could. And I'll be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Yes, sir.
I don't have any problem with the schedule of fees increase, but it troubles me that we're dropping the license on the animals because that's what we use to have a handle, as good a handle as we could get on rabies vaccinations. And I understand the deal that it used to be that a rabies vaccination was every year and so was the city license, and now rabies vaccinations can last at least 3 years, and it doesn't coincide with the 1 year animal license. But I think we're just jumping the gun too fast. I think we need to research it a little bit more and see if there's a way we can continue to have a hammer over people to get the rabies vaccination. I've chased down too many kids that were bitten that I just think we need to do, the city needs to do anything they can to keep some kind of hammer over dog owners. So, although I support the schedule of fees, I cannot support the other option in this ordinance.
My thoughts, as we talked a little bit, there are multiple avenues where someone can go get vaccinations for their pets. You know, I talk to people, they drive to Kearney, to Long Veterinary Clinic, so we have no results there. Our pet resource of Kansas City shows up at Westlake. So there's not a direct correlation to the animal license, and I think it plays out too in the total revenue that we see there in animal license, that it's just not as impactful as maybe the original ordinance hoped it would be.
Well, I agree that the impact as far as the fee that we get from them is pretty insignificant, but still, I think the people that violate that aren't going to go to Kearney to get their vaccinations and use the other services. I just think we're just moving a little fast. I'm not saying that 2 months from now, if we did enough research and discussion on it, that it wouldn't be okay, but I just think we're jumping the gun too fast.
What's the pleasure of the council?
I have no issues with as it's written. I understand your concern. I think the issue of the license fee doesn't accomplish the objective. So you have to ask yourself, why have it?
Let me interject a possibility. We need to make amendments to the rabies section of our ordinance, which we'll be bringing in a month or two. We could address maybe what other cities are doing to get a better handle on the rabies shots in their community as something we bring back when we bring back the amendment to the rabies section. Currently, our ordinance requires annual rabies shots, and our veterinarians have made us aware that that really doesn't fit the health protocol anymore. So we know that we'll be amending that ordinance fairly soon.
Well, I make a motion to table ordinance 26-01-03 until we do that.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second. Okay, we have a motion and a second.
Did you say second?
Yeah, Gary did.
He did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Roll call, please.
Councilman McGovern?
Yes.
Councilman Rennie?
Yes.
Councilman Spear?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem St. John?
Yes. Okay, item number 11 on the agenda is ordinance number 26-01-04, a ordinance consideration of adjusting the schedule. Let me get on the right one. Okay. Okay, one more time from the top. Ordinance number 26-01-04, consideration of amendment to a nuisance, chapters 25.140 through 235.146. I butchered that one really well. Bail me out here.
Yes, sir. So the city's chronic nuisance properties ordinance provides a civil process to address properties that become chronic nuisances due to repeated illegal or disruptive activities, which place an undue burden on city resources such as law enforcement and emergency services. Traditional criminal prosecution alone is often insufficient to prevent recurring issues or mitigate the broader public harms caused by these properties. The proposed revision, developed in consultation with City Attorney and Community Development Director Mallory Brown, this one is more comprehensive. It lowers the threshold for addressing minor quality of life issues while including additional safeguards to encourage property owner cooperation and protect innocent parties such as victims and compliant tenants. In your packet, the proposed changes were summarized there. It was too different from the original version to give you a clear red letter version. So happy to answer any questions you might have.
Is the enforcement to the property owner or the property occupant?
It would,
It would be both.
yeah,
Can be both? Okay. I was just curious if you have a multi-dwelling complex,
yeah.
what that looks like. I'm assuming it's specific to whatever apartment number or whatever, and not the building in and of itself as the address. Okay.
If you can pinpoint it to an individual apartment, some locations, my experience, the whole property is the problem, and it's due to the management or the owner or both.
Okay. Okay.
Any other questions, comments? Being an ordinance, need an.
I make a motion to take ordinance 26-01-04, consideration of amendment to nuisances, chapter 235.140 to 235.146 to second reading.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Rennie?
Yes.
Councilman McGovern?
Yes.
Councilman Spear?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem St. John?
Yes. Ordinance number 26, TAC 01, TAC 04, consideration of amendment to nuisance chapters 235.140 to 235.146.
I move we approve ordinance number 26-01-04, consideration of amendment to nuisances, chapters 235.140 through 235.146.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Roll call, please.
Councilman McGovern?
Yes.
Councilman Spear?
Yes.
Councilman Rennie?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem St. John?
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Okay. Remarks time.
Okay, so thank you. I noticed a publication announcing the small town showcase. Excelsior Springs was one of 16 communities that were selected or shortlisted for this honor, and it provides for a voting opportunity. So if you each would see opportunities on Facebook and maybe in emails announcing the small town showcase, we have between January 1st and February 1st to vote, in hopes that we will become one of the 5 communities that will be selected based on the votes received to receive a podcast episode and a short film about our community. And we've found out that you can vote often. So hopefully you'll vote and vote often for our shortlisting to be recognized.
So can the same email vote multiple days?
I have done it multiple times and days. So,
Okay.
and
Good
when
to
you
know.
when you vote, it then says, do you want to vote again? Or so I have tried different emails, but we confirmed that you can vote often. So
Okay.
it's
And we need to put
encouraged.
Councilman Rennie in charge of this. He's got a track record.
I already voted today once.
Excellent. Is there a particular website?
I can send you that. It's
Okay.
let me. Yeah, it's mohumanities.org small town showcase.
Okay.
So I will. This is a picture.
Yeah, there was a link on the
there
city's
was a link,
website.
yeah.
Okay, good.
I think DEP shared it. I
Good.
shared it.
That's how I got it, yeah.
Okay, so I guess that will be helpful. Go to the city's website for the link to vote.
To the Facebook page.
To go to the Facebook page. Okay.
Okay. Councilman Rennie, how's things down in Texas?
It's fine. I have 2 things. First, very proud of our city being on the cutting edge of opening our fire training facility and our police shooting range to outside departments. And And I'm going to enjoy seeing them come into our community and using our facilities. That's a great thing. The second thing is come Monday, when the meal and a visit begins, my next door neighbor, Francis McGaw, is going to be thrilled, as well as a number of seniors in our community. And whoever visits next door to my home, they better be prepared to stay a while. That's it.
That's great.
Thanks, Gary. Councilman McGovern?
If I could take the liberty to speak on behalf of the council and express our sympathy and condolences to Brian Rice and his family on the passing of his father, Steve Rice, who was a former city employee in the Public Works Department. Also, I see that we are we're privileged tonight to have a weatherman in our presence, Brent Hendricks, and maybe you could give us an outlook for the weather at the end of the week.
Well, for the rest of the week, it's going to continue getting warmer until the end, where it's going to get cold. However, tonight is 49 degrees. It's going to stay in the 40s until the morning. So again, we'll have the sun out tomorrow, so get out there and have some fun.
I'm done.
I thought we were done. For a while, I thought we were going to have to shovel snow on Friday, but it looks like they've changed that.
Well, we're hoping
Hope so.
that doesn't happen.
The only thing I had, I mentioned this Friday, I haven't had an opportunity to speak with Kristen Dayhart at the hospital, but was excited to see the $216 million that was granted to Missouri for rural hospitals, and hoping that we can leverage that to the benefit of our wonderful hospital.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And something that popped up today is the 11th year that the DEP has been led by Lindsay Baxter. We thank you for that.
Applause, applause.
Yes, yes. And the other thing is, this is the first meeting in 2026, and just thinking back what was accomplished over 2025. In 1977, myself and my wife drove out in a Ford Pinto, of all things, a flood on Kennedy Avenue. And I hope nobody ever has to experience that again.
You didn't drive through a flood in a Pinto, though, did you?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm glad to do that.
Right. It made it. That was the main thing. So, but yeah, there's so many things that have occurred over this past year, and it's phenomenal. And the stage is set for even a better 2026.
The best is yet to be.
Okay. That takes us to the next item on the agenda, a motion to close the meeting.
Make a motion to close the meeting pursuant to the revised statutes of Missouri, Chapter 610.021, Paragraph 1.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Councilman Spear,
Yes.
Councilman McGovern,
Yes.
Councilman Rennie,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem St. John.
Yes. We are closed at 6:48.